Hello everyone and welcome again to another episode of our tutorial series, The Intermediate Guide. And welcome, let's see what we have today in this episode, because in the last episode we learned how to use those tools. If you remember, those FX tool. Let me create just a new layer here, just to show you what we've seen in the previous episode. It's this FX here, this is the blending option, or as it's named, the layer style. And here we learned, guys, how we can use this bevel, the emboss, the stroke, the color overlay, the color over gradient, and everything. So of course we didn't do a good tutorial or a great one, because we did just the simple examples on how we can use this layer style. But in the future we are going to see how we can really make good stuff with those layer style and everything. So right now I want to move on and show you the next tool in Photoshop. So let me just duplicate this one, and it's Command G. This is a picture I found on Google. This is a model, of course, and we are going to use this picture to show you something really interesting here in Photoshop. So as I said in the last episode, in today we are going to see this top corner here, and especially this filter one here. We are not going to talk about file because we already know how to use this file, right? If you hover on file, you can create a new file, open a new file, or browse in the bridge and stuff like this. We don't need this for now. When we finish talking about the intermediate guide and everything, we are going to talk about how you can export your project and all the format that you can export them. For now we focus just on learning the tools, right? So I'm going to this filter here, and what I'm going to pick, it's not this 3D, because you might not have 3D in your computer. So we are going to skip this 3D for now, and I'm going directly to this blur here. If you click on this blur, as you can see, I didn't click it for right now. I want to show you just the picture so you can see this is the picture we have, right? And if I go and hover on blur, we will have all those options here. There is an average, blur, blur more, box blur, etc. We are going to see all of them one by one. So if we pick this blur average, as you can see, it will make your picture look like this, because it blurred all the image on an average color, and the average color we have, it's this blue one here, right? That's why it turned to be just like this. Let me Command Z to undo this movement so we still have our picture. And if we pick this blur, you may notice nothing for now, but if I hide this layer, well, right now it is nothing, because the blur the effect of the blur we did, it was a minimum blur. It didn't affect at all the picture. But if I choose blur again and do it again, blur again, blur again, and if you notice, we have here this blur command. This command here, it's the last effect you used. I mean the last filter you used in those filters. So if I pick, let's say, blur, and I did blur more, when I go back to my filter I will have this blur more here. You see, I will do Command Z to undo the movement, and when I go to blur I can pick blur, and when I go back I will have this blur here. So if we do this Shift Command F, I'm going to apply the sum filter we did in the last time. In your computer it will be Shift Control F. So every time you pick a filter from this place here, it will be in this command here in the top. Why this happened? Because sometimes we apply a filter and we found that we need to reapply the same filter. So instead of going to filter and picking the filter you want, you can just click the command and you will have your filter reapplied again. But for now I will just do this blur again, and I want to show you the result we have right now. We blurred this picture like 5 or 6 times right now, or more, I don't know. So if we hide this layer, you will see the difference, right? This is the original picture we had, in this layer here, the background one, and this is the picture we applied the blur on. As you can see, it's blurred right now. And if we go to filter, blur again, we have this blur more. What does effect do? It's the same as blur, but this is just more blur. It will make the picture blur more. This is a lot of blur, right? I will go to filter again, and I will pick this box blur. Now I want you to focus with me with this box blur. This is really amazing. This box blur will have a radius pixel here on how much you will blur this picture. So if we make this higher, let's say I will make it into 15, like this. As you can see, it blurred the picture really bad. And if we make it into, let's say 10, it will be just like this. And of course you can make it just 1, you can make it more, and of course you have here a preview. If you zoom out, you will have the same preview as you have here. Of course you can hide the preview or show the preview, and this is exactly how you can make your picture blur or not. As you can see, this is really a blur picture right now, and it hurts in your eyes. I will delete this layer here, and let me just show it to you last time. I will delete this layer, and I will command G to duplicate my layer here, so I have a brand new one. And I want to show you this time another type of blur, and it's this Gaussian blur. Let me pick it, and we have this one here, and these have the same effect as the box blur, but this is different. Let me show you. If I add this, as you can see, it's different from the other one because this apply a Gaussian blur and not a box blur. Let me show you an example here. As you can see, this filter is applying slowly, and it's making all the picture looks blur in a different way. So it looks like this. This is the picture we had, and this is what we have right now. Let me delete this layer again, and I will create a new one. This time I will go to the filter blur, and I will pick this lens blur. When we pick this lens blur, it will give us this new window. This is a big new window here, and it says lens blur. Here we have a preview, of course, to show you what type we have. Here we have a fast way to preview this picture, or a more accurate. I will leave it in the faster one for now. This is a depth of the map. How much depth we have in this picture. Let's say you have a picture where you are in the foreground, and you have something in the background that you want to blur. This one here will help you to make, let's say this is a transparency or a layer mask, for example. If we max this one, as you can see, I'm not having this much blurriness, and you have this difference between the background and this picture here, right? So if we click this invert here, it will invert this picture. As you can see, I just inverted how blur work. We have the blur in the background right now, and we can focus on the picture here. If I hit this invert, it will give me this cool background here and this unfocused picture here. Of course, here we have a radius for our blur, how much radius for the blur. This is the rotation and stuff like this, and the threshold. And if you click OK, you will apply this. As you can see, we have this blurriness to our picture right here. Let me delete this one again, command G to duplicate and create a new one, and I will go to this motion blur. Now this is, of course, as you can read, it's for a motion blur. It will create like a motion to your picture, like a moving car or someone running or something like this. If I drag this distance like this, as you can see, it's like someone, it's like if you're moving the picture faster. Let me make this bigger. As you can see, it's like someone is running faster, like in anime, you know, when someone is going to to do like Goku when you do this fast run, this Ultra Instinct, or Naruto running or stuff like this. It will have this motion blur like this. And of course we have this angle here. This one is responsible from the angle from which you are going to see this blurriness. For now it is like this. I make it like this. If we can make it into a 90 degree, let me just click on this one here. Let's make it like this. As you can see, we can have it like this. We can make it into like this. It's however you want. You can add a -1 on the beginning here to make it this one this way. And here we have this motion blur. I will hide this layer. I want to keep this layer. I want to show you something by the end of this course. I will duplicate this one again, and I will have a new layer here. I duplicated this one here. I have a new layer, and I go to filter, to blur again, and I will pick this radial blur. And this one applying a radial blur. So we have the amount of how much this radiant. As you can see, it's changing here the blur center. I don't have a preview for this one because this one require a lot of hardware in the software. This use your material, you use your graphic card and your processor a lot, so there is no preview for it right now. And of course we can change the blur method. It's a spin or a zoom, however you want. I will keep it as spin. The quality, I'll make it just good. I will make the amount on 25 like this, and when I click OK, look what will happen. This is the picture we have right now. It's blurred like this. In the first we have this one, you go like this, and this one make our picture look like this. Let me do it again. I will delete this layer. I will Command G to duplicate my original background here. I'll go to filter, and we have this radial blur, but don't click this radial blur here. You have to pick it from here, because if you did like this, it will apply the filter automatically, because as I said before, we use this as reapply the filter, right? So it will reapply the filter we used before. Let me delete this layer again. I will duplicate it, and I go blur and pick this radial blur, and here we can make it like zoom. I will keep this one like it was, and I will click, and as you can see, it have this zoom in our picture, like you know, like in anime, someone running toward you, your face, right? It's like coming to my face or something like this. I don't know, but it's cool. It's cool. I will keep this layer too, and I will Command G again, and I want to pick a new. Let's make this shape blur here, and this one. Of course, we have some shapes here, and you can apply a filter using those shapes. Let's say I will click this arrow here, and let me make this amount bigger like this. And as you can see, my Mac is slow right now because this use a lot of quality of RAM and from your processor. And this is how it is applied with this arrow here. This is the picture we had. This is what we have now. I will Command G again, you know, right now, and I will go and pick this smart blur. This is a smart blur. It will try to find the focus on your picture and apply like a filter to the picture. And if you click, as you can see, it looks like this. This is the original picture, and this is what we have right now. It's focused on the face. As you can see, you may notice it's giving the face this cool face here. It looks like it have makeup on her face, and this is how sharp her face was. This is how her face looks like now. I will Command G and use the last blur filter, and it's the surface blur, and here we can do some threshold, something like this, and we can make her looks cool or not, however you want. It kind of looks like the smart one, but this is applied on the surface. As you can see, this is how she was, and this is how it looks right now. We give her this smooth face and stuff like this. And yes, you may notice this, but you can retouch your picture like this. So girls, if you want to make a fake makeup without applying makeup to your face, you can just use these tools here in Photoshop and you will have a cute makeup to your face. I don't know, I'm just telling you something. Yeah. And here we have this, as I said before, this one here, and here we have this one here, as I said before. But I want to show you something cool. I will click like this, I will add a mask to this layer here. I will switch to my brush tool. I will make my brush size bigger. Let's say something like this or like this. And I want to pick, let's say something like this. I don't know, I'm just trying to pick something here just for fun. I will make this layer bigger. I will switch like this, I will keep it like this, and I want to show you something cool like this. As you can see, you may notice this. We had this cool effect here, right? It's like the picture was hiding from something and it's showing up like this. I don't know, I'm just trying to show you guys that there are a lot of ways that you can apply what you learned for now in Photoshop. I just added a blur picture and created a mask to this one, and I started deleting or making some transparent places in our mask, and we will have this effect right here. This is cool, guys. You can use it however you want, and I will stop here in this episode. This is it. We learned how to use this blur effect. In the next episode we are going to see more beautiful stuff. I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel, like what we do, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Love you guys and see ya.